Hi, my name is Cory, and I'm the Vice President of the San Francisco Shock Overwatch League team, the 2019 World Champions. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about kickstarting your career in esports. It's a question I get a lot, emails every single day from very enthusiastic people across the country who just kind of have questions about how to get started in esports. Um, People say it's a pretty hard industry to get into, and that's 100% true right now. At this point, the esports industry is very small, and there's no direct path necessarily to get in right now. Because of amazing programs like the one you guys are in now and college courses that are opening up, that may change in the future. But the way it's always been has been pretty unpredictable, and everyone is used to a structure system. Like you come in, and you're washing the tables, and then they put you on the fry machine, and then they teach you how to use the cash register. There's no ladder in esports. From starting from scratch to getting to the top, everyone has to build their own ladder. I've talked to a lot of different people across the industry, and no two people have the exact same story on how they got into esports, which can kind of sound scary, but there's some basic rules that I've seen, throughout the industry of the most successful people around, and I just would like to share some of those tips with you today. The first one is to start today. A lot of people, so many people will say like, "Oh man, I'll start grinding this game once I get my contract," or I'm a sick graphic designer. I'll start showing you what I can do after I get this big job." Or I can do social media and make all this crazy stuff, but I just need to get hired first. My best hires have always been people who are already doing the grind for months, if not years, just out of the pure passion of what they love to do. For example, things you can do to get noticed is start a fan account. Like if social media is your passion, pick your favorite team, the one that you'd already be watching their matches anyways. Create a Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or whatever your favorite social media platform is, and start just making fun content for that team from a fan perspective, and just do it for fun. And that stuff gets noticed. Those accounts get noticed by the social media managers, and when we have internships and or paid internships and things like that that pop up, and we notice that there's already fan accounts putting out a high level of quality, those are the first ones we go to. Join the fan club if you love organizing community events. A lot of teams have fan clubs. If they don't, start the fan club yourself. And then it goes to players too. Like, don't force yourself to play games just because you think you have a good shot at going pro. Start off with the games that you're going to have fun playing and have a passion for and a love for. Get invested in those communities, go to their events, network, shake hands, build the best team in your school, and then enter tournaments and get noticed that way. Just have fun with it. The people that are having the fun and doing the thing that they love are going to be the ones that go way further than the people who wake up every day already hating their job. And that's kind of the why you want to work in esports to begin with, right? You generally, most of the people I see in esports are not the 9-to-5ers, who just want to put in a job at retail and clock in and then go home. A lot of the times when you work in this industry, it's kind of like a all-consuming 24/7 type of job because it never sleeps, and a lot of us don't anymore either. Just a little bit about my story, how I made it into esports. I worked for 7 years at a broadcast radio station. I didn't really find it too fulfilling. It was very, very safe and paid very, very well, but I just, at the end of the day, wasn't happy. So I started a podcast with some friends. So I'd go work for 8 hours a day at my normal job. Then I'd come home and put in another 5 hours at night, recording and editing podcasts. And through that podcast, we learned a lot about networking. We made friends with local websites who asked us to start writing articles. So I became a writer, and the podcast doesn't just post itself. I learned a lot about audio editing. I learned about making teaser videos for the show. I had to learn how to use Photoshop to put graphics to each episode. So, out of this passion for podcasting, I ended up picking up a lot of different skills for the next 2 to 3 years. And the podcast started building a little bit of notoriety. And I ended up reaching out to a guy named Andy Miller, who is a co-owner of the Sacramento Kings and also the CEO of Energy Esports. And we interviewed him just kind of like a normal guest. And I really was into what he was saying about the future of esports and gaming. And we had a really good time on the interview. And at the end, he had asked us, hey, if you guys know anybody, or if any of the listeners out there are looking for a job for social media and marketing, hit me up, and put his his email address out. And the next day, after, editing the show and thinking about it all night, I sent him a note and was like, hey, actually, that note you said about hiring for social media, I would really appreciate a shot at that. And I interviewed it was a long interview process, probably about a month and a half. And, zero experience in esports, but just tons of experience and passion with the gaming space, from podcasting, and that led me to E3, and it led me to, networking in a lot of these different scenes and avenues. So I was able to get my foot in the door with Energy, and I had to take a pay cut. It definitely wasn't near as safe. No 401ks, no health benefits off the jump. It was a huge risk, calculated risk. I had to talk to my wife and make sure she was okay with it. Overall, I would say it was probably one of the best decisions of my life. 3.5 years later, being the vice president now of the San Francisco Shock, all of the new skills I've learned, all of the new people I've met. But I will be the first to say this industry isn't for everybody. It does require a large amount of dedication at this point, from entry level to, the very top. Just make sure that when you're getting into this, that it's something you really love, it's your passion, and, you're willing to pursue it to the end. Because if you're not, there's a lot of people out there who are. And at this point, it's so competitive. It's not the type of job, you want if you want to feel nice and warm and fuzzy and safe all the time. A lot of it's a big risk. And, for those out there who are going to take the journey, I just wish you luck. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at What's Up Pizzas, or you could send an email to my business email, Cory@nrg.gg. And I'm always happy to answer questions or give a little bit of advice when I can. So thank you so much, and good luck.